Welcome back, viewers. After a few false starts with commentary, we're finally ready to head out to Blackthorn City. Our route there goes through Route 44 and the Ice Path, but we'll take a little bit of time to look around Mahogany Town. A couple of things have changed. This girl's grandma has now taken over the shop where Team Rocket hid their headquarters. You can still access the headquarters, but you can buy some potions and Great Balls and Rage Candy Bars, which are glorified potions. Let's see how many Great Balls I have. I'm pretty well stocked. We can head up here to get the second item of interest. I mentioned this gatehouse earlier on. Team Rocket charges you 1,000 Poké Dollars to go through here. But if you talk to the gatekeeper, he will tell you about the TM they left behind. This is Sludge Bomb. It's a particularly useful move, one of the best poison type moves around. So we have that on hand. And it is worth noting I may have to change my team again. I don't know how things are going to go, given that I would have to trade Sunny if I want to evolve her before I get to Kanto. I might have to wind up using Sunkern after all. But anyway, with all that done, we can head out onto Route 44 and battle a Psychic here. There's a bit of Pokemon to talk, aside from this LP. We've seen some new Galarian forms be introduced recently. We've seen Galarian Zigzagoon and Galarian Linoon's evolution of Obstagoon. A lot of people have already mentioned the fact they look like they're fans of Kiss. And admittedly, the black and white makeup sort of does give that vibe, sort of a punkish, tough edge, I suppose. My favourite one, hands down, is Weezing. It looks fantastic. Chimney top hats, I'm all for that. I love Weezing, and I'm pretty pleased that it has the fairy typing as well. That'll give it an extra edge in battle. Does give it a weakness to steel types, which is a bit of a problem, but not too bad really. Anyway, Kadabra's using Future Sight, which launches an attack in a couple of turns. Brings up a few problems along the way, because what happens when the battle finishes? Like, I've knocked it out. So, is that attack still going to happen? Is somebody going to be walking along and suddenly get slammed by Future Sight? It's a little weird, to be honest. And we've got a call from Mum. Okay, but boiling things down into slightly more coherent thoughts about the Galarian forms. I do like Weezing and its fancy sort of poison gas moustaches and its chimney top hats. I like Weezing, I think it's a really cool design. I do appreciate the fact they're actually adding new regional forms in. Zigzagoons is pretty cool, especially since it does actually get an evolution. But I really hope that they don't wind up ignoring the Pokemon from Johto, because, well, they haven't really got very much. I mean, we have some of the best games in the series with Heart Gold and Soul Silver, but the Johto Pokemon often get left behind. Alright, so we're not going to get cut off there, but we do have a Collector or a Pokemon. I believe it's a Pokemaniac. Collectors were introduced in Generation 3. But yeah, when it comes to getting boosts, the Johto Pokemon really need some, but they're so often left behind. I would love to see a Galarian Furret, or a Furret with a Gigantamax form. Or, well, something like Lantern maybe. Any of the Johto Pokemon that just need that little bit of a boost really should get something, because it was a surprise seeing a Zigzagoon, because hitherto it's mostly been Kanto Pokemon. That was probably one of my biggest concerns with X and Y, the fact that it traded so much on Generation 1 nostalgia. Now, I love those games, don't get me wrong, but there's a point where it sort of feels forced, you know? It's almost like they were just shoving Generation 1 down everyone's throat again, overhyping it. I have some good nostalgic feelings. I have plenty of nostalgia for this, that's why I'm playing Gold version again. But I'm more than willing to admit that it has its flaws. I don't want to just shove it down your throat. I want to say, hey, this is how I feel about it. Come with me and make up your own mind. And we've got another call from Mum. So yeah, much as I'd like Johto to get that little boost, and maybe Sinnoh getting a remake, that'd be interesting giving Sinnoh a remake, but the question is, what's it going to be based on? Because we all know that Ruby and Sapphire didn't do that well with their remakes. Now, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire look beautiful. Don't get me wrong, there are some pretty solid gameplay elements like the Dex Nav and things like that as well. But they didn't fix up the level curves, and too much is based on Ruby and Sapphire. They didn't add the changes from Emerald that made the games really, really good. And that's a problem. Because if they remake the Sinnoh games, are they going to base them on Diamond and Pearl? Because those have really, really big flaws. Platinum fixed most of them. But we don't know what they're going to do. So the Sinnoh games have a lot of expectation on them because they need to get everything right, because otherwise you're going to be remaking games that are admittedly rather flawed. They had a lot of great technical advances, don't get me wrong on that. They brought in some much needed changes. But there are also many elements about them which are flawed. And we're pretty much running into some of the flaws of the Johto games as well, so don't worry about that. I will happily admit flaws where they exist. And now that I've finished rambling about all that, you need to get Wilton's phone number, because on this route you can catch Remoraid in swarms, and he's the man who tells you about them. So there we are, this should take seeking, not quite. You will forgive me if things are a little incoherent this episode. I'll find my rhythm as I go. It's been a very stressful couple of weeks, troubles with bureaucracy and things like that. To put a long story short, I've had a lot of trouble trying to get very simple answers, and a job that should have been a certainty, through no fault of my own, turned out to not be at the absolute last minute, which threw off a lot of plans and resulted in a bit more dealing with bureaucracy. It's been pretty stressful, so I'm just trying to recover and recharge after a whole lot of bother that didn't need to happen. Anyway, let's talk to Wilton and get his phone number. I have also been doing a couple of other recordings as well. I mentioned the Mario Party project by accident in a previous recording, so you might see that along the way. Anyway, how's Gibson faring? I haven't taken much time to actually talk about these routes. Route 44 is again another nice mountainous region, and it has that beautiful lake, and you can search for some Pokemon right in the middle. I'll surf to that after I've defeated the couple of trainers here. What are we going to be facing? Alan has Charmeleon. Gibson can take that down pretty easily. I will be able to find Earthquake in Victory Road, so he'll have that. Dig is a bit slow. It originally had the same power as Earthquake, it just took a turn to use. It was dropped down to 60 for these games, and it got bumped up to 80 about Generation 4, I think. So there we are, Gibson's level 34, he's doing a pretty good job. It is interesting seeing how things do actually change in the games along the way. I'm not sure about Sunny, to be honest. I think I might give her a rest and we'll switch her out when we get to Blackthorn City. I'm afraid she's not going to be doing as much for the team because of those tech difficulties. It's pretty much been a week like that. But things are flowing pretty well now, I'm here recording to everyone who listens and watches, no matter how small a handful there is. And I'm having fun playing one of my favourite games. We have a lot to look forward to in the world of Pokemon, so I really don't think I can complain in the long run. Butterfree goes down fairly easily, and what's coming up next? Bellossom. Little spoiler, you will see a spotlight on that, but not right now. Oh, that's handy. And there we go. Nice work from Dash. Okay, so no one else to battle along here? Oh, there is one opponent. Well, don't push yourself or them too hard. Always look after your team. And you know, since I've been talking about it a little bit, this is going to be our spotlight Pokemon for today. Let's talk about Remoraid for a bit. Time to lock and load. Remoraid has a fantastic move pool available to it, based on beams, bullets and bombs. Its incredible versatility actually comes from the fact it's meant to be based on a handgun. Likewise, Octillery is actually based on a tank, and its original design was even more tank-like. The incredible variety of moves at their disposal can make this evolution line very dangerous to deal with because you don't know what's coming at you. Both Remoraid and Octillery can be said to suffer from 4 move slot syndrome. They have so many great moves available to them, but you can't put them all on the one Pokemon, which is very unfortunate. All military connotations aside, Remoraid is also based on a Remora as well as an Archerfish. You'll need one of them hanging around if you want to evolve Mantike into Mantike. Needless to say, you do still get to keep Remoraid. Even though Remoraid is found much later in the game as part of a swarm, it's a very dependable Pokemon and that incredible versatility is pretty hard to pass up. Just be aware that Octillery is a bit slow, work around that and you will be fine. And with that done, on we go. Good hit from this should take it down. Very nice work indeed. And another Remoraid. Same as before. And there we go. There is one more opponent to battle, so I'll head over there and battle them. Then I'll go and look for some Pokemon. We have a couple of new ones along the way. Actually, hop on the bicycle for once, so that it doesn't take too long. If we head along here, near the ice path, we can battle a Birdkeeper. You can also get his phone number, I believe. He doesn't do anything special outside of rematches, but pretty good experience nonetheless. Fairly solid Pokemon in Pidgeotto, but Dash should be able to take care of it pretty easily, especially with, well, Roll Out Mist. At least it didn't use Sand Attack. That would have been rubbing salt into the wound. There we go. And the next one should go down pretty easily. I'll keep Dash in for that one. Another Pidgeotto. And down it goes. Nicely done. So, with all the opponents on this route beaten, let's head into the water. I'll switch a different team member to the fore. Probably Sunny, given what I have to face. I can also use Polari if needs be. So if you surf over here, You'll find that stretch of land dividing the lakes and get a max revive, which is very handy. Let's go look for some new Pokemon. And straight away we found Tangela in the wild. Let's see what we can do here. Not much. And we're poisoned. It's worth noting, Hypnosis accuracy went up to 70 in Diamond and Pearl. For whatever reason, it was immediately knocked back down to 60 in Platinum. Marginally better than a coin flip. Well, 10% better than a coin flip. And I flood that coin flip plus 4 times in a row. Not going well. Maybe I need to damage it with Confusion. Alright, let's try and bring it in. Oh, that's right, it does that! That's a dick move. 10% chance of fleeing. Alright, alright. Well, let's try again. Well, at least we found Weepinbell, though I'm probably going to knock that out if I use Confusion on it. So let's switch to Polari, who can avoid being poisoned. Polari will probably be a better choice. Of course, we do have to worry about Stun Spore. Thundershock. Let's see how that goes. Alright, nicely done. And not sure about Sonic Boom. I have my suspicions, so I'm just going to throw and hope. And that worked out better. Weepinbell, the flycatcher Pokemon. Even though it is filled with acid, it does not melt because it also oozes a neutralizing fluid. So there we are, another new acquisition. We have Tangela, and we have a call from Bill. That's actually pretty fortuitous, so I will head back, change the box, and I'll cut to when I find the next Pokemon. Finally, we've found Tangela again. Alright, Sunny, work your magic. There we are. Much better this time. I think they can still flee when they're asleep. I'm not entirely sure. But there we go. We should be right to catch this one since we have a box with plenty of space. And 1, 2, 3. Okay. Alright, well let's try this. Just go with it. Okay. Might have to put it back to sleep again. At least I'm getting some of those coin flips going my way, as such. Is the third time gonna be the charm? No. Same as before, I'm gonna try that Ultra Ball, just to see what happens. At least I'll be able to buy plenty in Blackthorn City. There we go. Tangela, the vine Pokemon. The vines that cloak its entire body are always jiggling. They effectively unnerve its foes. So there we are, and there's Leaky Tongue to find if I remember correctly, so we'll have a quick look for that. Here we go. This is the last Pokemon we need to catch on this route. Let's make sure we can grab it. That's about par for the course, really. At least I'm not dealing with one-hit KO moves. The way things are going for me, that would be a nightmare. And that just happens to be super effective too. There we are. Can I get confusion of my own? Nope. Let's put Leech Seed on it. Or not. Interestingly, Leaky Tongue couldn't learn Lick in Generation 1. Similarly, despite being covered with vines, Tangela couldn't learn Vine Whip. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Okay, let's go for Hypnosis. Nice, we should be able to get this. I think I've only got one turn of this, so... Probably should have kept the Ultra Ball for this. Oh no. Yeah, Leech Seed was a bad idea. Well, take two. And we're good to go on another one. So, will things go my way this time? And interesting, it should learn Defense Curl because its evolution needs Rollout. If Leaky Tongue is leveled up knowing Rollout, it will evolve into Licky Licky, which had a niche as a very powerful explosion user. Ah. Come on, third time's the charm. Okay. This is looking eerily similar to the first one. Oh, that's better. Alright, well, I'll put it to sleep and see what happens. I'm not using Leech Seed this time. There we go. Alright, can I wrap up the episode with a successful capture? No. This is why I like having False Swipe on hand. Getting a little closer. Yeah, we got there. Leaky Tongue, the licking Pokemon. Its tongue has well-developed nerves that run to the very tip, so it can be deftly manipulated. It's sort of like a freaky cousin to Yoshi. Anyway, that wraps things up for catching Pokemon on Route 44. Thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you in the next installment of our scenic tour through the Johto region, when we will be ready to head into the ice path. Rug up warm.